Israel the stigma on the new ends at Riverside Service. Pengassan to federal government. Federal government declares public holiday for Independence Day. On the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, Washington, D.C. to meet U.S. President Trump. I'm Sam Chinedu, and the news continues after the break. Are downplaying the absence of top politicians at the government's Thanksgiving service for Nigeria's 65th independence. They're warning that the absence should not be given too much political meaning. An activist in Port Harcourt, Cheetham, talk is common because of the kind of democracy. He explained that there is no forces lawmakers or local government chairmen to state events.
This issue ordinarily shouldn't have been an issue, but because of the type of system we have run and type of democracy we have run in this country, that's why we're making it look like an issue. We must first of all understand that the legislature is different from the executive and that their lineup of activities and role in the state is also different. They are not under certain obligations to attend every executive function. But we have run the state in such a way that for every government appointee must attend all government functions.
Mr. Tenriwala, however, explained that there is no law that forces lawmakers or local government chairmen to attend state events.
Political appointees or political office holders must attend it. It's not supposed to be that way. Normally, an official letter from the SSD's office would be sent to invited guests, invited political appointees to attend these events. There is no law on earth or no law known to me and to the generality of Nigerians that says that the Speaker of the House of Assembly or Assembly members or LJ chairman must attend the Independence Celebration Thanksgiving services.
Also speaking, peace advocate Obinna Egbogidi said attending government events is not what brings peace in River State. He said Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Speaker of the House of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amehule, should set a good example by coming together and showing unity to other politicians.
It is not enough to hope. The real test of leadership is the ability to rise above ego and personal interest for the collective good. What our state needs urgently is and focus on development actions. So I strongly appeal to both Fubara and Right Honorable Martin Samiole to urgently do the needful, to sit, to dialogue, and to chat that secures peace without condition.
Mr. Egbogidi also advised journalists to help keep peace in the state by being careful with how they report events in rivers.
Journalism is at its best when it is responsible, when it builds bridges, not when it widens divides. That sections of the media have unfortunately stoked tensions with their framing and reportage. Media professionals in River State must understand that this is the time to exercise restraint and patriotism. Let your platforms become channels of healing, reconciliation, and development-focused dialogue. What you choose to report and how you report it can either set River State on fire or heal it.
From River State politics to Abuja courtrooms, where Federal High Court has stopped Professor Pat Utomi and his group from starting what they call a shadow government. The judge, James Omotosho, said the idea is not allowed in Nigeria's system of government. The court said Utomi and his people cannot use their right to freedom to do things that can bring trouble to the country. On May 5, Utomi announced his shadow government initiative under the Big Tent Coalition describing it as credible opposition to President Bola Tinubu's administration. On May 14, the DSS initiated a suit against Utomi over the lunch, arguing that it usurped executive authority. Away from the courts to flooding fears, the paramount ruler of Mbiama community in Ahoda West, His Royal Highness Otavia Smith Sylvanus, says renovation work is ongoing at the community primary school. It serves as a camp for displaced people. The monarch made this known in an interview with correspondent Onyekachi Wonsu.
There is a renovation going on this community primary school, the one that Amechi built. I think that is where they are always using it for IDP camp. I'm talking to you everything, but renovation is going on faster so that in case of any emergency, people can easily pack in on that very primary school as IDP camp.
The monarch also expressed concern over the rising level of the Orashi River due to recent heavy rains. He said the rise in the water level poses a threat to the community and farmers that are stepping up early crop cultivation in response to the situation.
About 4 days now that it's raining. Orashi River is coming, everywhere is becoming full. As I'm talking, the river bank now has filled up with cassava and other crops. Yes, in the river bank, when you get there, you see how people are harvesting cassava. As I'm talking to you, tomorrow is the market, Indiama market, and most of the cassava, they are getting spoiled. The cassava don't always sustain by the water. So after some days, you now see the cassava will now start either rotting and all the rest.
The paramount ruler appealed to Governor Similala Ifubara to collaborate with traditional rulers in the area in the provision of flood victims' problem.
We are suffering on it, and him also should also intervene on the flooding, because our women, as I'm talking to you, our farm already submerged with so that the first class can also transact it to the traditional rulers, so that I think it will go around to the farmer also.
In the Kwara local government area, a chief in Omu Ehueche Alu, Olunta Chukuma, is raising an alarm. Chief Chukuma, in an interview with our correspondent, accused a certain land grabber of attempting to assassinate him in order to take his land. Ohiamini LM, he said over the weekend, the certain land grabber, accompanied by the police and thugs, went to his land, threatening to go to any length to claim the land. He accused them of forging legal documents to grab lands. He warned that if the land grabbing activity continues, he will have no other option than to mention his name to the public.
I'm here to put it to the public that one notorious land grabber, they have their cartel in this state, went to my land with police and talks to dig my 30 plot of land, purporting that he had agreement with me. I wonder, he's not my blood brother, and he's not from the same community with me, neither the same local government. When I intercepted, he prepped that he has the police. I am putting it direct to the public. If anything happened to me, my wife is there to tell the police and to tell the government of Rivers State and Nigeria who killed me.
He appealed to the Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adekboju, to warn and educate his men against being used as tools to promote menace of land grabbing.
I am using this opportunity to appeal to the Commissioner of Police, Rivers State. Please stop. Educate your men. Educate the various area commanders to stop sending police to these people, because they are killing the image of Nigerian police. They use them to carry out these nefarious activities. Again, another thing they do, they run to court. They give them some money. They obtain concocted court order. I say, have court order, don't enter. That is what they have been doing.
The chief also intervened and urgently addressed the growing cases before the situation escalates into larger crisis.
Government of Rivers State, Nigeria, including local government, please, he has a business in this state. My caution to him is that he should pull away from my land. It is my ancestral right. I am not in any way going to vacate my ancestral or share my ancestral right with any stranger. He's not my blood brother, neither is he my son. And for government of Rivers State to be aware, similar Ifubara should wade into action. This issue of land grabbing is a menace in this state. People have been dispossessed of their ancestral properties. It's giving this state bad name.
We'll take a break. When we return, ASU threatens strike and issues ultimatum to federal government. Stay tuned. Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petroan, says people in Rivers State should not fear fuel scarcity, even with the nationwide strike by Pengasin over the sacking of Dangote refinery workers. The national spokesman of Petron, Dr. Joseph Obele, told reporters that the federal government's intervention in the fight between Dangote refinery and the union has reduced the fear of fuel supply problems.
The strike has resulted in the shutdown of the Dangote refinery by Pengasa directing his members to shut down all the valves supplying crude oil and gas to the Dangote refinery. However, Petron will want to state clearly that there is no indication of fuel scarcity at the moment, as the federal government of Nigeria has stepped in urging Pengasan to suspend the strike and calling for an conciliation meeting to resolve the dispute between Pengasan and the Dangote refinery.
Obele also advised managers of Dangote refinery to obey Nigeria's labor law so that there will not be too many quarrels in the oil and gas sector.
Dangote refinery should respect workers' rights as enshrined in Nigeria Constitution Section 40 and Section 12, Article 4. We encourage Dangote refinery and Pegasus to take advantage of the meeting called by the federal government to make amicable resolutions. Both parties should prioritize dialogue and negotiation to find mutual beneficial solution. We advise the management of the Dangote refinery to improve his stakeholders' relationship and engagement.
At the same time, the executive director of Citizens for Justice, Employment and Transparency, Victor Anyanwu, told correspondent Suebi Oruwari that Pengasen members should think of Nigerians and the country's economy first, even as they fight for their rights.
Pengasan, as far as I'm concerned, is only trying to protect its interests. It's not thinking about the welfare of the entire Nigeria. We are talking about competition, and the Dangote just came up. It may be doing one thing or the other, not yet perfect. Pengasan, if they had been thinking of economic development, there are challenges. The Dangote coming up is something we should all welcome. The reason why it is not every time they declare strike. Is it an instrument to petition?
In the meantime, a delegation of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, Pengasen, and the management of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery are in a closed-door reconciliation meeting with the federal government. Present at the meeting are the Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dingyadi, as well as the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Kiruka Onye Geocha. The aggrieved union members are protesting the alleged illegal sacking of over 800 Nigerian workers by the management of the Dangote refinery. But while all unions fight, ASU is also threatening a strike. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the government threatening a total and indefinite strike if its demands on the revitalization of tertiary schools and staff welfare are not met. The union's president, Chris Piwona, issued a communique after the union's National Executive Council NEC meeting held at the University of Abuja on Sunday. And still on education, National Youth Service Corps NYSC now requires students to upload final year projects before mobilization. The federal government has approved a policy that makes submission of students' theses and final year projects into the Nigeria Education Repository and Data Bank a compulsory requirement for mobilization into the NYSC. This directive is effective from October 6. The new directive was contained in a circular issued by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. It said no graduates, whether trained in Nigeria or abroad, will be mobilized for or exempted from the NYSC without proof of compliance. Justin, the Rivers State chapter of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NULGE, has announced a 7-day warning strike beginning midnight of Tuesday. In a statement signed by the State Secretary Sunday Adenira, the union said the decision followed the resolution reached at the State Executive Council meeting held today, Monday. According to the statement, all local government employees across 23 local government areas of Rivers State are directed to withdraw their services immediately until further notice. NULGE explained that the action became necessary due to what it described as the callous and unfair action of the chairman of Emohua local government area, Chidi Lloyd, who allegedly denied workers their salaries. The union called on all branch chairmen and members to fully comply with the directive, stressing that solidarity was crucial to achieving their demand. Chidi Lloyd has dismissed those who protested, saying he is not aware of any unpaid salaries owed council staff. He said salaries are paid based on verified staff list. The federal government has declared Wednesday, October 1, a public holiday to mark Nigeria's 65th independence. The declaration was made by the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, in a statement today. Tunji-Ojo congratulated Nigerians at home and in diaspora and urged citizens to uphold the patriotic spirit, unity and resilience that has sustained the nation since 1960. Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the federal government is planning a low-key 65th Independence Day celebration. Idris made this known at the Pre-Independence World Press Conference today in Abuja. And to health matters now, as the world marks Heart Day, some residents of Port Harcourt say they check their hearts every year, but it costs too much. In an interview with correspondent Arisa Georgeville, they said one ECG costs more than 100,000 naira, and a full-body test for the kidney, liver, and heart costs even more. They complained that many Nigerians cannot pay for admitted for a heart check. And to sports, Nigeria's World Cup 2026 FIFA hopes just got a lift. This is as FIFA has sanctioned South Africa for fielding an ineligible player in their match against Lesotho. The decision means Lesotho gets 3 points and 3 goals, while South Africa's tally in Group C drops from 17th to 14 points. As it stands, Benin Republic leads the table, South Africa sits second with 14 points, and Nigeria is now just third, behind the top two. Nigeria's final 2 World Cup qualifiers come in 2 weeks, as they face Lesotho away from home and Benin Republic in Uyo a few days later. The news continues after the break. Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in Washington, D.C., where he is expected to meet U.S. President Donald Trump to discuss a ceasefire in Gaza. Analysts say while Netanyahu will likely accept Trump's plan later today, it is not guaranteed that he will implement it. Palestinians in Gaza are closely following the talks taking place behind the scenes, as they are desperate for a breakthrough. On the news this evening, you heard stakeholders have warned against politicizing the absence of top politicians at the Rivers Thanksgiving service. You heard Pengassan and Dangote refinery management are in closed-door meeting with the federal government. We told you ASU has threatened strike and have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government. The federal government declared Wednesday a public holiday for Independence Day. On the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is in Washington, D.C. to meet U.S. President Donald Trump over Gaza ceasefire. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.